So let's take a look at how we can create those grooves, or not grooves, those feet. It's a rectangle and that has rounded edges. Then we extrude it to the height, and then we do a scale to make this bigger. And now you can see they are slightly arced. So we need to figure out how we can bend those. We have in the reference image here for the dimensions 1.5 and 3 and 2. So 1.5 and 2, that is good. So Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A, plane, and then this plane we want X to be 15 millimeters, Y 2. And then we go to edit mode, E, and simply type in 5 millimeters. Very good. Okay. I will actually make this a tick bigger. GZ and type in 1. I make this 1 millimeter longer. Why? Well, so it intersects into the body, you see? Okay. Actually, we can move this over kind of like where the center here would be. This looks like the center point. I just extrude the line up. So I kind of like can see where is the center. There it is. And then here I X and delete this point. Good. Very easy way to find the center. So this object has a scale factor. Let's apply this. And then we will go into edit mode. Select all vertical edges. Control B for bevel, and then we just bevel it so it looks kind of like nice and round. Okay. Let's undo this one more time because I didn't talk about Control B. How many segments? Maybe 10 segments. And 0.5, yeah. Woo, very gentle here. 0.9. So we can actually, okay, let's do this. We go 1 because this is an object of 2. So with a bevel of 1 is 2. Okay, this is all fine. But what we will end up with, you can see there are some extra edges because there are two arcs that are touching on each other. So press A, select everything, then we go mesh, clean up, and merge by distance, and there should be 4 points are being removed. There are like 2 points for this line and 2 points for that other line. Okay, cool. Now Alt select the bottom part. I press Control 7 on my numpad, and then this actually now should grow into being 3 centimeters. Yeah, what is 3 centimeters? So SNX and 2, this is actually 15 millimeters multiplied by 2, being 30 millimeters. So this is the target size. And then SNY, we can scale this till this looks kind of good. And you can see that these arcs turned out to be a little bit shitty. Okay, so undo and undo. How can we do this differently? What about we just press S? Okay, that works too. Yeah, so S and 2, but then it doesn't have the width again. S and Y, and we end up exactly to the same problem. So what we can do in this case is actually the following. So we will eyeball this maybe S and Y a little bit more. Okay. Control R at the center. Control R at the center. Very nice. Here I would like to have a connection. So I select these 2 points and press J. Z in wireframe. I do the same here for the bottom, J, and A, B, select all this and delete it. So I only have like 1/2, and I will do the following now. I will select this point, and then I select all this with B. You see this is still active. Go to active element, S and X, and I scale it away from X, and I scale it till it starts to look like a circle again, and not like this squashed thing. Okay, because this is how could I say that? Technically speaking, what we should have done is select this, Shift D and escape, scale it, and then move all the stuff to the correct position. Oh, look at that. I am actually very close to how this should look. Okay. Then we can mirror this over. Okay. So now we have kind of like these feet. But as you can see, then they're kind of linear. We want them to be arced. So right click in object mode, shade smooth and auto smooth. Okay. And check this one out. So we have now this object. Then we go add modifier, simple deform. Oh, that looks funny. What's happening? It's twisting. I want this to bend, but not along X or Y, but the Z direction. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, but what's happening here? Well, we have this geometry, and then we have this geometry, and then all that moves, but we have nothing there in between. So let's add this. What's missing? Let's turn this off for the moment. Control R, Control R. Also here again, I will select these points and J, do the same here and J. Now I have a loop cut, which I can GG, slide over there, and then Control R, and then move my mouse wheel, and you see I'm adding more subdivisions. Click escape. And when we turn this on, chunk, there you see, looks nice and arced. So you remember we had actually this funny trick here with taking the center point in E and Z, moving it up. Now I can do this one more time. Maybe move this up even more. Up. Okay. And in object mode, this whole thing I move to there. And then I can play in here with how much I'm bending it. Yeah, like this. Okay. Whoops, edit mode. Remove this. There we are. So we have, how many do we have? We have actually 3 of those. So we select one. We'll go back to 3D cursor. No. Alt D. And then R. And 360 divided by 3, 120. So I type in 120. Alt D, R, 120. There we are. So let me do this one more time. So Shift S, cursor to world origin. We are in bottom view. So that's important. Otherwise, when you're in the 3D view, then it is Alt D, R, and then Z, and 120. Alt D, R, 120. Along Z. Cool. So we can call this one here foot. And we call this one foot. And we call this one foot. Very good. So there we actually very quickly modeled an interface, not interface, a speaker That actually looks pretty close to the actual object because we did actually an Alt D, so duplicate linked, and notice that this is straight, this should be arced. That's okay. It's a perfect situation to explain why this duplicate linked is so useful. So I control R there and escape. Then I will select these 2 points. Wait, hold on. This is also good to show. So I was working actually on this one. Yeah, I can. Okay. Then so shift, so these 2 are selected, shift as cursor to selected, and then I will turn on local. You see now how the local orientation changed. This is super important. Then hold the Alt key and I click on an edge to select the loop. And now I can say S and Y, scale this along Y a little bit, and then S and X a little bit along X. So I'm kind of like pinching it, S and Y. And then Control B, and we push in our bevel. So this sharp edge we bevel, and look at that. Nice and clean. Okay, very nice. So the last element maybe to take a look at is then there are some kind of like some dots here. We can see this right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how do we do these dots? Let me show you how we do this. So we select this one, Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, and then Shift A, we would like to add a sphere. 32, 32, this is all good. To 4 millimeters. G and Z, we move this one up. Go to the top view. Whoop, sorry. Bring this down to there. Okay. Bring this down. I'm actually switching you back to local and there. Bring this over. This is wait. Oh, 2 millimeters. That should be 4, 4, 4. Okay, Control A and scale. So this is still. So when this is 4, and this is maybe 2. Shift S, cursor to selected. Shift A, circle should be 1 millimeter. So the radius then, the diameter is 2. Because now we can see what actually only should be visible by that circle. When we scale this more, there. Okay. So this is now a spherical shape with what sticks out being 2 millimeter diameter, shade smooth. Okay, so now how do we replicate this? There are 2 ways how we can do this. So we make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then Alt D and R. But wow, what's going on? Escape. Well, I don't have this one set to 3D cursor. R. Now it goes. So the question is now how many rotations? Maybe 10. So Alt D R10, Alt D R10. Select this one. Alt D R minus 10, Alt D R minus 10, Alt D R minus 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 1 centimeter in between. 10 and 10. Bring this one up. Bring this over. Oh, now we can see. Yeah, This is not even really 10 centimeters. So maybe it might have been 11 degrees. So here, go back now to 3D origin. So it goes around that center point. Alt-D-R and 11. Backspace 12. 12 degrees. Okay. Alt-D-R 12. Alt-D-R 12. So now we have 4 and here Alt-D-R minus 12. Alt-D-R minus 12. Now we have 6, but this is actually not centered. But this is actually now easy. We simply select all our objects here. We move those in 12 degrees. So RZ minus 6, so half of it. Boom, there we are. And then this actually we can delete. A little bit of manual copy and paste and rotating that stuff. We can turn this into interface if we want to, and then all these spheres, for example, we push in there. So it's just one. And there it is. Now this piece is done. And at one point then we can add materials and all the stuff to it. Don't forget always to save.